beyond knowledge to character building. I'll first of all start with one thing, and that is, I don't think teaching is a profession, as many people do. Why? You may ask. It is because professions end when we retire, but teaching does not. And that is why teacher is not just a person who sits in a classroom in a suit and a boot, but teacher is also a person, a stranger who you see on the road, sometimes a driver, sometimes a conductor, sometimes a laborer, sometimes a peasant, and sometimes even kids playing on the street. How you can ask? Because whoever teaches us, whoever adds a value to our life is a teacher. Isn't it that simple? Not a person sitting in the classroom only is a teacher, but everybody else. But how a teacher, a true teacher, builds a character, that is the topic. I must address how it is done. You know what? We live in an era of overflow of knowledge. Everywhere we see knowledge, information. You will go to Google and you will see that a lot of things are there. You will learn photosynthesis from Google. You can go to YouTube and you can see a tutorial on algebra. You can learn many things from outside. Even ChatGPT writes beautiful essay nowadays, without any grammatical mistake. So, what exactly are teachers going to do? Many people say that ChatGPT will eat up the career of the teachers. I don't agree with that. Because a real teacher is a person who builds a character, and ChatGPT cannot do it. When we are born, what we do first, we do not utter a word from a dictionary, from grammatical pieces. What we do is we utter either ma or baba. Why is that? Because the learning process starts with an emotion. Emotion is the basis of learning. And that's why when Carl Jung says, and I agree, that we look back with appreciation to brilliant teachers. We look back with appreciation to brilliant teachers, but with gratitude to the teachers who shaped our feelings and who touched our human hearts. And that is why a teacher must touch the feelings of their students. I'll also agree with one more thing, and that is, sometimes we learn the anatomy of a leaf. Botany students will agree with it. That we learn the anatomy of the leaf. Teacher will teach us that. It is an information. But we also must learn how to respect a tree that gives us oxygen. How we learn that? That is the character building that teachers do for us. When we learn algebras, we may learn many other things. We may be able to do the LHS equals to RHS on the paper. But we must bring that balance to our own lives. Who will do it? The true teachers will do it. Rabindranath Tagore says that the highest form of education is not merely giving knowledge. It is also bringing in harmony with life and all of the living creatures. How does that occur? That occurs with character building. And only a true teacher can build your character. Not everybody on the road can build your character. And that is why teaching is not just a noble profession. It is also one of the most difficult professions that I know. Because students don't only learn from the words you utter, they also learn from your actions, the way you walk, the way you talk, whatever you do in your life. And that is what makes it very difficult. Because information helps us to survive, but education helps us to thrive and live in reality. And that is where the teacher comes and builds a character, and that is the topic for today. I will leave you with this one thing today, this one question. When you walk out of this hall today, when you go and meet the real world today, when you be in the practical world, what